Hello, everyone, and welcome to A Hero's Story, a Star Wars story. This is our premiere episode, and on this podcast, we're going to talk about Star Wars, of course. I mean, it's in the title, like four times?
Well, technically just once, but
yeah, but there's like 15 stories in it.
The implication
There's a lot
is
of
that it's in there
colons.
3 times.
Yes, there are way too many colons. I'm Tyler, comic boy.
I'm Hunter,
I'm
comic book hunter. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Still-
dissension
still
among
my
the
friend.
ranks.
Already off to a great
Well,
start.
on the main show, you guys always go first. So I was hoping maybe for once in my life I wouldn't be last. But anyway, fine. JD,
Anyway.
you go.
History of the Flash, JD, and just because it's a new show doesn't mean I have to wear a new shirt.
Oh my god. And I'm Harper.
Well,
You've
same thing
already
for
pushed
Harper.
away, man.
Same thing for Harper. He's got that same old Superman shirt, doesn't he?
It's a different Superman shirt.
So
have
anyway-
multiple.
Anyway, on the first episode of this podcast, we were thinking we would talk about our general Star Wars opinions. I almost said ideas. Our general Star Wars opinions, like what we think of the saga overall, and also discuss season 2 of The Mandalorian as it just wrapped up, 2-3 weeks ago? So,
2 weeks ago, yeah. I think
Yeah.
2 weeks ago. So yeah.
So I don't know where we want to start. We want to start with our general Star Wars opinions.
I think we should do it by trilogy.
All right.
I agree.
Just
I
like
think that's
general.
interesting.
What are all right. Well, I'll go first then. The prequels suck.
Let's just start with the prequels for now. Episode
Yep.
3 is good.
Episode
but
3 is fine.
1 and 2 suck so much.
I like episode 3.
I know everyone loves episode 3. I know JD, you love episode 3, right?
I don't love any Star Wars movie. I generally don't care about the movies.
Bastard.
I generally feel that movies not enough time to tell the Star Wars story that needs to be told. So
Yeah,
I don't
It
care.
started in a
I don't
movie
care about the
medium,
movies, but that
all right.
being said, I do have a gigantic Revenge of the Sith poster in my room, but like I don't really care about the prequels. I like the ideas of the prequels though,
Yeah. All right.
in
well,
concept.
But
We just
But
got so
didn't
many
you also
dislikes.
say you would rather watch The Phantom Menace than A New Hope?
That is true.
Okay, explain yourself.
Listen, I find the thing about A New Hope is, we've all seen it 5 billion times, right?
yes.
You get the concept. It's very dated. It's plain, it's I just, you know what's going to happen every time. I don't know. I don't feel any enjoyment from watching it anymore. Like it's cool of like, oh wow, they did that in the 70s and it really changed film and all that, but like I just don't care about it, and I just don't think it's that great. So yeah, if
What
I'm
Phantom Menace is?
oh no, I think Phantom Menace is dog shit, but if I'm gonna watch one, I prefer to watch the Phantom Menace. It's
You
just
prefer the
I
political
hate
one.
to do
Okay.
this. I really hate to do this, but I do slightly agree in the sense that I have seen.
oh
Well, I've
JD's
seen
not
A New
crazy.
Hope
Well,
so many times
Yeah.
to the point where now when I watch it, I have a thing, and it's a personal thing where I would rather jump in on the middle of a story than I would
A
at
New
the
Hope
start.
feels like a chore.
Yeah, well, it's just the origin of it all. I would rather jump in on a movie down the line or even earlier, like one of the spin-offs that's just an adventure instead of like an origin story, like where everything came from. A New Hope is beat for beat
Well,
like an origin story.
I mean, it's only an origin.
And I
of
love
Luke,
it. I
though.
adore it, but I've just
But
seen it so many
the whole
times.
point of Star Wars was that it's like you jump into this like serialized version, and it doesn't matter what happened before or after. So it's not really like an origin; it's more like just a random adventure. So I think you just
No, I
proved-
just mean when I watch it, it's
Idiot.
very, we're getting. I think those characters have transcended time so much at this
Well,
point.
yeah.
that,
I mean,
like-
it is hard to see Luke just be a farm boy again, isn't it?
yeah,
But
it's almost like I'm like,
Obi-Wan!
oh, no.
But even hearing like Obi-Wan explain things, it's like, obviously the saga ended up changing so much afterwards that like, I don't know, even some of the dialogue in New Hope, I'm just like, oh, like when he's like, he was a Jedi Knight who fought in the Clone Wars.
They're
Like, he
"The
was a
Clone
pilot.
Wars?"
Your brother, like his brother wanted him to stay home. Like, no, he didn't. His brother didn't care that he fought in the Clone Wars. He didn't give a shit, And it's like, I don't know. I find it so. Oh god, I hate. One of my least favorite parts about A New Hope is when Obi-Wan and Vader are about to fight, and he calls him Darth. Like, no.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Oh, I
No,
hate it
here's-
so
like it
much because
too.
you should.
The reason why I like
lame.
it is because like we know that they're gonna meet again in the Obi-Wan show, which I think is interesting. I like the idea that at that point Obi-Wan is like, nah, this guy is just evil. There's nothing left. And so instead of referring to him as like Vader, his proper Sith name, or calling him Anakin, he calls him Darth, like he's mocking him, like, oh, Darth, oh, you think you're like this like top-notch Sith Lord when really you're just this scared little boy in like
That's not
in
what they
some
thought
armor.
of though at the time.
No, it's not. But that's
Obviously
what it
not.
is retrospectively.
Also, that
No, of
lightsaber
course-
fight
of
is
course that's
impossible
not
to
what it is.
watch.
It's so lame.
It is
That, like,
not
that
great.
is-
At least
I mean,
it's short.
that's the worst in the series by far. But it's also the first, so it has like a special place in history, I guess.
No.
I mean, at
Anyway,
least it's
the
short,
prequels
yeah.
are just not good. I
Yeah,
forgot.
no.
Yeah,
They're
but
terrible movies.
the
I
original
do like
trilogy,
Revenge
on
of
the
the
other
Sith,
hand,
I'll be honest.
I feel like Revenge of the Sith could be its own like entire podcast though, discussing that movie.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say
but
its
that being
own,
said, though, like
trilogy.
like when
Yeah,
you
well,
watch even like the Revenge of the Sith being like the better one by default, like when you watch something like
Yeah,
the
it
Clone
is
Wars,
by
like especially
default.
Siege of Mandalore, you're just like, wow, Revenge of the Sith fucking sucks.
Well, that's
Well,
how I feel. That's how I
wouldn't say
feel
Siege of
about.
Mandalore. I feel like
It
Siege
would-
of Mandalore made Revenge of the Sith more enjoyable in a way.
But,
because
like,
you could
compared
watch
to
it
I'm saying when you
knowing,
compare
like,
to them, like when I watch them back to back, I'm like, wow, I much prefer the Clone
oh,
Wars.
okay. Yeah,
I mean,
fair
it's
enough.
even when you take the Clone Wars.
you can enjoy things without comparing them all the time, buddy. It must be a
You
thing
sound
that
like- you sound like one of those people who
fans
doesn't want to
do,
like rank
where they
things for some
can't
reason.
watch BVS without being like, it's so much better than Kitty Marvel. It must just be a thing you guys do.
But like even in the Clone Wars, when you see Anakin Skywalker in that show, and he's a completely
Not the
different
same
character
It's not the same
to
Oh,
character.
yeah.
2 and 3. Like he's in between those movies, but he's way cooler. Like Anakin in the prequels is just for me an annoying shit, and I can't stand him in any of the movies really.
Yeah.
But in the Clone Wars, I'm almost like, oh, this guy's cool. Like I almost care
Yeah.
about the end of
Almost.
it. Yeah.
Because in the
Because
Clone
he is,
Wars,
yeah.
a lot
he
for his
becomes like this
character.
Did the heavy
cocky
lifting.
character who's independent too, does his own things, but then you go
Yeah.
to the prequels, he's like, but master, we need to go this way. And like he's just
He's
very
also-
whiny and
I know-
slow. And
Deadpan, and people are always like, oh, George Lucas told him to act like that. Yeah, but I still don't have to like it.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
people are always like, it was intentional. All right, it still sucks. Like
yeah, that doesn't
Yeah.
mean it's good.
Looking back at all that we know about Star Wars, it's weird, but I would be very okay with having just like if I could wipe them from my memory, just seeing the Clone Wars and just watching Mandalorian because I really don't care about the rest. And I know that's a weird opinion, but
what a
genuinely don't
like
care.
selection of material.
because I
Not
think
even-
you
you're
can,
not
I
even
think you
Star
can
Wars
watch
fan?
both of them.
but you're not even gonna
I
keep like
think you
Rebels
can
or
watch
anything?
both of them without really needing the rest of the information.
Can you imagine watching like just the Clone Wars and then only the Mandalorian, and then Luke Skywalker shows up and you're like, I have no idea who this is.
Spoiler.
This means
alert.
nothing to me. If people have
I'm
not seen
joking-
that,
I'm
what
joking,
rock are you
dickhead.
living under?
Fucking
No, I
Mark,
know.
fucking Mark Hamill the day after was like, watch TV, wink,
Mark
wink.
Hamill
Yeah.
spoiled it for me because of that. And he posted
You
on his
didn't see
Instagram
it the day
picture
it
of him
came
going
out?
like, shh. I
Yeah,
did.
what is wrong?
But at around like noon my time or something, I was gonna wait and watch it that night. But Mark Hamill was posting pictures of him being like, shh,
Why would
and
you
stuff
do
like
that?
that. I'm like, okay, obviously he's gonna.
Oh yeah. The original trilogy. I feel like we've given our general thoughts on A New Hope, but
Okay,
the rest of the
when-
original
when-
trilogy.
When you watch the originals, I don't know. I feel like I've gotten so much more judgmental of them over the years. Like I tried watching Return of the Jedi.
I
a few
can
weeks
agree
ago.
with you. Yeah,
I
can-
hate
all
the
right.
first like hour of Return of the Jedi. All the stuff in
Oh,
Jabba's palace
what?
is fucking weird.
No, I
it's like
agree.
a George Lucas LSD trip.
Actually,
I think
well,
I think.
Have you
nah,
ever watched
yeah.
Jedi Rock?
Yes.
It's so weird. Yeah.
Yes, with Size Noodles and
He's
yeah,
like doo
yeah.
doo ba ba da boo bop.
You are doogie doogie baba.
I hate it so much.
You really gonna make fun of the
Yo!
job or of the Jabba's Palace band? What about Droopy McCool and fucking Max Rebo? Come on, Size Noodles. You don't like any of them?
No, I hate.
No, yeah, I actually
Remember when
will.
Sice Noodles got her arc?
I
in the
can
Clone
fast
Wars?
forward over like the first hour of Return of the Jedi, and I could
No, I
skip
think
over,
you
like,
could
the
skip
last
the
hour
first
of it with,
90
like, the-
minutes.
with
The
like the
Vader
end
and
of
Luke
the
stuff
Ewoks,
is what
like,
you're waiting for.
that's
Yeah.
literally all I
episode
care about.
Yes, it
Return of the
is,
Jedi.
yeah.
That's all you need though, is like cut the Ewok stuff, cut the Jabba stuff, just do because it feels like the Jabba stuff is just there because they mention him in the first one. They're like, I guess we have to show Jabba the
I hate
Hutt.
it so much. The
But
Jedi
Well, it's-
Rock,
it's a-
like if
it's
you
a
just watch
leftover
Jedi Rock on
remnant
YouTube,
of-
it feels like you're on drugs.
It's
Yeah.
pretty bad. That's why okay. This is a weird take. I think the original cut, like the unaltered versions of A New Hope and Return of the Jedi, are better, but I think The Empire Strikes Back.
yep,
Did...
Totally agree with you there, Harper.
The Empire
You notice
Strikes.
that
Yeah,
he's
it's
like
so
a
good.
tint of purple right now, like just slightly.
Not on my screen.
A little bit, but it looks more like
Tiny
he's
bit.
choking than the lightest purple.
Yeah, so that was a
I
good time for
assume-
Harper to lose.
I assume what he was gonna say is that The Empire Strikes Back is good, or maybe even great, because I know that Harper loves that movie.
I
If
love
I can
that
speak
movie
for
too.
him, well, yeah, that movie is perfect. I mean, there's nothing you can say about it that hasn't been said. It's just perfect.
Yeah, it really doesn't have any flaws at all. Like
Yeah.
you can watch it.
It's like, yeah, it's
preferring
perfectly
other
paced.
movies, but
Yeah,
it doesn't have flaws. Oh, bye,
there it
Harper.
goes.
And then
Well, I
there
guess
was-
this is a regular hero story where Harper
This
loses
is,
his connection.
This is Big Who.
Yeah.
Turns out it was all
it's-
a prank of Tyler to get us to record his podcast.
But it's like it's like perfectly paced. All the characters are perfect. It looks really good. It's just the best. It's seriously the best Star Wars movie. I mean,
Well-
it's the best Star Wars movie. It's not my favorite, but it's the best.
It's my favorite. What is your
Yeah.
favorite, JD? I know you don't love them too much, but
I guess my favorite would be Revenge of the Sith, just because I love the ending. But like I said, I don't really like I wouldn't give any of them more than like an 8 out of 10. Like I just
you
don't.
love the ending, so you love children dying. Is that what you're saying?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Okay.
Listen. The actor who came out who played the kid who said that Hayden yelled "boo" when he came out. That's hilarious. Like I love that.
That's why he took a step back
Yeah,
Yeah.
he said that they were startled because Hayden yelled "boo" as he popped out.
as he just ignited it.
Yeah,
You've been waiting for that, haven't you?
that scene
I have. I've been
is
holding it this whole
horrifying.
time.
Like I feel like it's been memed to death, obviously, but that scene is horrifying.
Yeah,
like
when you think
that,
about it, like
that
Anakin
poor
just
kid.
killed children.
Yeah, that poor kid. Like, or not even that poor kid. All those
All
poor
the kids,
children.
Grogu.
Yeah, he killed every. Yeah, and potentially yes, that is true. But he killed so many people.
All the photoshops putting Grogu in the background are hilarious.
That whole scene in general. I think when I first saw Revenge of the Sith, it was right when it came out. So I was a kid. I don't think I really got it, like the clones betraying the Jedi. I don't think I understood it that much. But looking back, when I rewatch it, obviously, I'm like, damn, that is heartbreaking.
Yeah, I mean, and especially with the Clone Wars given, like, because in the prequels you don't really care about any of the clones. They're just there.
Oh, absolutely.
But with the Clone
like,
Wars-
Rex has like a line. And
No, he's
Cody
not even. No,
has, like,
Cody.
He's
Cody
like,
has a
Cody,
line.
sorry.
Yeah.
Cody.
Cody
Yeah.
has like one line, and that's it.
He's like, "Oh, you dropped your lightsaber,"
And then he
Like,
just
"Oh,
shoots him. Yeah, and then he's like, fire away or whatever. But
okay." Yeah.
But I was gonna say that with the Clone Wars, if you watch Episode 3, it has like so much more weight. It's so much more upsetting, and especially with the Anakin and Obi-Wan stuff, because people. The movies act like they're best friends by the time it ends and everything
You
like
were
that.
my
But
brother, Anakin.
See,
Yeah.
the prequels
they spend
do,
like 3 scenes together
the
in the entirety of the prequels.
the prequels do the bad filmmaking thing of like you talk about it more than you actually show it. Like
Yeah, they tell
all those
don't show.
pointless scenes in episode 2.
Yeah, I haven't seen you this startled since we fell into that nest of Gundars.
Yeah, like why not show it?
Yeah, what the fuck is a nest of
in Revenge of the
Gundars?
Sith when he says like oh, this is the 10th time I've saved you. 9th, that time on whatever doesn't count. Like, why did you not show any of these 10?
Yeah,
Now, if
what
you
is
actually
that
showed
time?
all those 10, it would have been a great scene, but it's not.
Like I understand that you only have, I guess,
I've always thought
9
that in,
hours max.
I've always thought that Eric and Charles' relationship in First Class is like kind of what Anakin and Obi-Wan should have been in either Revenge of the Sith or Attack of the Clones. Like, you're really building them so close as like they start kind of distant. You build them so close as brothers, and then they still have to separate in the end. Like, I always felt like that's how it should have been written.
Well,
'Cause
that's
at the
the
end of
thing.
First
is,
Class,
like,
you're
And
kind
that's
of
all in one
devastated.
film.
Yeah, and at the end of first class, you're devastated when Eric leaves Charles behind.
Yeah, but and that's even the thing is
God,
like
first class is so good.
you knew by the end of this trilogy that they were gonna like split. That's the way Star Wars was always going to go because we've seen the original movies. So why not build that better? Like you know, like
Yeah,
I know the obvious intent wasn't we're gonna do this poorly, but why not show them together more?
I mean, thank God for Dave Filoni being able to salvage
Yeah.
that like so much.
For the
Yeah,
Clone
because
Wars, yeah.
without the Clone Wars and without Ahsoka in that show,
The
then
prequels are
they're-
dog shit.
Yeah, yes, yes, I agree. I feel like that.
Even Revenge
And-
of the Sith isn't that good without that chemistry.
hmm
Like Revenge of the
And-
Sith is really good if you don't watch the Clone Wars and you only watch like the tragedy scene where Anakin actually
Yeah.
turns to the dark side. Then it gets good, but and maybe the first scene. But besides that, the Clone Wars
Yeah,
is
I
what
was
makes
gonna
that movie
say-
watchable.
I was gonna say the opening is great, but that's like the
Yeah.
only glimpse of that we get in that entire trilogy.
Even the opening though, like it takes like half an hour for the like I
It
just
is
get
too
bored
long.
of it.
Yeah,
It is
And the
very
original
long.
one was over, an hour in the original cut. Like it's too long.
Mhm,
But like,
absolutely.
but I do like those small glimpses in that opening that we get of their relationship, where it feels more natural. Like, with like Obi-Wan's gonna make fun of R2, and Anakin's like, "Don't." He's trying. Like, and like that's fun, but
Mhm.
that's like it. That's all we get.
There's
Uh-oh,
Mark Ruffalo.
Ruffalo's back.
He's-
Unbelievable.
What were you gonna say about Empire? Because we've been talking about Revenge of the Sith this entire time. Waiting. for you.
Oh, for God's sake. All I said, when are we making our separate spin off podcast where it's 30 minutes about me complaining how shit internet providers in Australia are?
on the on Timmy's talk.
Oh, Timmy's Talk. Oh, excellent. Tune in for Timmy's Talk coming. We don't know. Empire
next
Strikes
week.
Back. All I was saying is the special edition, I think, is better because of like small
Okay.
edits to do with the music and just
I-
like
I
little
thought-
voice things.
I thought you were gonna say that Empire Strikes Back was your favorite because I know it is your favorite, right?
It's literally my second. I mean, I don't rank them. I have 3 favorite films, but it's probably my second favorite film of all time.
Yeah.
Out of
Well, that's
curiosity,
very
what
good.
are those other two?
Halloween?
Halloween, because
Okay.
like it's Halloween. I'm a John Carbon, and because this one I feel like people will go really, but you got to understand when I was however old I was in 2008 and I saw Iron Man for the first time,
Really?
it blew my mind. It really, and now what? 12 years later, almost 13 years later, it's still like the greatest thing in the world to me.
Didn't you
It's like
just
what
complain about how annoying origin stories are to watch about like
That's
after
so
20
here's the thing.
fucking-
My favorite movies I feel like cover like certain genres. I feel like Iron Man is like the perfect origin story. I feel like Empire is like the perfect sequel.
Mhm,
So,
okay.
yeah.
And
Okay.
then what? Halloween's a perfect horror movie.
To me, it is.
It
Return
is
of the
though. It
King
is.
is the perfect
even
It
though
is, yeah.
even yeah, okay, thank you.
It is. The original trilogy, I think we gave our general thoughts of just it's very good. It's Star
Yeah.
Wars. I mean, it's you
It's
can't
got
go
its
wrong with it.
problems, but it's
Yeah,
very,
it has
very
its
good.
problems, but
Even the dialogue to me is a little kind of bad. Like George Lucas,
I don't
just don't
think
think is a good
dialogue has
dialogue
been
writer.
Star Wars' strong.
But
suit
I'm saying
ever.
like even if you
Yeah.
like if you read like the script
Except for a
of,
certain movie.
of the originals versus like how it's actually delivered, you'd be like, wow, this is a terrible movie.
well,
But I
that's
think someone like Harrison
yeah.
Ford is just so
Well, that's-
charismatic.
that's
that
what
he's
he
able to
said.
pull off a lot of the lines.
Harrison Ford said like he was mad at George for trying to get him to say these ridiculous things, and he said, "You can write this shit, but you sure as hell can't say it." Like, he was
line.
like, yeah. So,
And that's
but
I
any
can
George
picture
Lucas film though. Like you watch American Graffiti and you're just like, why is this dialogue like this?
Tyler,
Like,
do
it's
the
just not-
impression.
of what?
Of Harrison
Lucas?
Ford saying
Oh,
that.
I can't do a Harrison Ford impression.
I don't think anyone
just
here
gotta,
can. I
like,
was just
deepen
really
your
hoping
I,
you
voice.
could.
no, I thought he was gonna do a George Lucas.
but you sure as hell can't. I don't know.
You can write. You
can
can
write
write this shit, kid,
You
but
sh-
you sure can't say.
I think you're gonna make me do a George
Oh,
Lucas.
shit, that
You'll be like,
wasn't bad.
Harrison, you need to do the line in this movie, Harrison.
Here. No, I can't. Do, mine
I
just
don't.
slips
I
into
don't
Tom
have
Holland.
the. I don't have the chin that goes like down to here.
Yeah.
The sequels. How about those? Oh,
Here we go.
Okay. Episode 7 is really good. I will
Yes, it
die
is.
saying that, but not
Oh,
as much as Tyler
What
would
a
die
what a
defending
controversial
a different movie.
opinion.
8.
Don't people like?
I see
dude-
how people love 8. I've tried it so many times and I
Yeah.
just can't
Mm.
get into it.
No,
but
see, your
I totally
opinion.
get why people love
That's
it.
the opinion I like. I don't like the guys that are like, it's the worst and you're an idiot and I
Yeah,
want to kill you
yeah.
for liking it. But if you don't like it, then that's fine. I don't give a fuck. You know.
If you think that The Last Jedi ruined Star Wars, this might not be the show for you.
Oh yeah.
Because
If you
Star
think the
Wars
Last
was not
Jedi,
perfect.
if you think Last Jedi ruined Star Wars, I think you're an idiot. Like that's it. That's
Who
that's
do
just
you
all I'm gonna
think
say.
has gotten more death threats? Ryan Johnson
Johnson.
or Tyler?
Oh,
Ryan made
I
the
genuinely
movie
feel
and
bad
then
for
he just
Ryan
like
Johnson.
turned comments off, but Tyler defends it like
I
every week.
genuinely
Yeah.
feel bad for like Ryan Johnson, the woman who played Rose. I
Mhm.
can't think of her name.
Kelly Marie Tran.
Yeah, and who else got it? John
Even
Boyega,
Daisy Ridley gets
Daisy
a lot
Ridley,
of hate.
like it's,
Yeah.
and I've never understood this in like any form of media. Like you're blaming the wrong people here.
Yeah.
exactly.
I mean,
yeah.
Ryan Johnson probably is the right person to blame if you hate that movie, but at the same time, stop being like a bitch about it. You know, like don't say that he's not a real fan or anything like that. Like he just thinks
Yeah.
about it differently. I remember there was an interview Daisy Ridley did where somebody asked her like, "Is it hard to just hear constantly about this movie?" And she's like, "It's the worst thing in the world," because she says like she was in a cab once and the cab was like, "Oh, you made that movie, right? I didn't like it." And she's like, "I all right, well,
Okay.
yeah, like all right." And she was at a party and the guy was like, "I like 7, but 8 was just not good." And she's like, "I've known you like for 10 minutes, dude." Like people get way too comfortable with just yelling their opinions out.
Yeah, that does seem bad. Huh.
Did Mark
Speaking of
Ruffalo-
someone who's going to yell their opinions out, is Harper frozen again?
I think so. But look at
Oh,
him
man.
looking
I
all
didn't notice
seductively into the camera.
I feel
Look,
bad for him.
Is that maybe he has like a lightsaber beam going out right there? Like a
Oh,
white
God.
one? Or Ahsoka?
He said I give up to the group chat. I'm guessing he's saying I give up on life.
Well, before he said I'm going to kill myself. So, yikes.
Who's gonna yell about
so-
their opinion?
so-
There he goes.
So I think that 7 is, I haven't seen it in a while, but I think it's
Yeah.
mostly interesting. I think it has a lot of potential. There's one or two things that I might have done differently, but that's any Star Wars movie. But I think 7 for the most part has pretty good potential. I really don't like 8, and I have given it so many chances, and I'm sorry, Tyler.
I mean,
like,
I assume
I
it's like
love-
your. I assume it's like your Batman v Superman for me.
yeah,
give it-
and I truly love your passion for it. Like every time you write about it, like obviously I don't agree with how you feel about it, but whenever I see you write about it, I'm like, damn, this dude like really
Yeah.
loves this. He really
He
like
dives
connects with it
deep
on
into
every but everything hits on it, and I love that. For me, it just doesn't, it never hit
Yeah.
like that.
No,
But I
and
do
I
love
get
it.
that.
It's
Yeah,
fun.
I know. I get that. Like that's absolutely
doing it.
fair.
He's
There
back.
He's back in.
This
And
is my
I-
killing joke origin story.
like, and I get that. Like that's absolutely fair. Those are. I'm like so fine with people not liking the movie. I don't.
Oh, and
care,
that,
but
and,
I just.
and that being said, I think that 9 is so weird because it doesn't know what it wants to do. It's like, do we want to revert back to 7 or do we want to try to be like 8? It's like you should have steered into the skid one way or the other.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I wonder because I watched 9 recently and I do enjoy it. I do have issues with it, but I think
I
on
haven't
the
seen
whole,
it since the theater.
I think on the whole, I very much am like I can sit down and go, all right, that's fun. I do have my issues, but at the same time, I like how it ends. Like for me, it wraps up well. But I do wonder, like, I would like to peek into the universe where we got the Duel of the Fates one. Like, I want to
Yeah.
know what
Mhm.
that looks like because it sounds at
It
least
sounds
interesting.
a little better, more interesting because 9 is very action packed. And when I first saw it, I loved it. But now, after watching it maybe 4 times since, I'm like, it's got good moments, but there's too many things that just bother me about it. All the fake outs,
9, I
the
think,
random
has
characters.
9 has the scene where they all hug, and I don't know how you feel about that hug, Tyler.
I love
but-
it.
See, I don't. I don't know. I didn't feel like it was. I
Yeah.
feel like the problem that we have with the prequels, right, where it's kind of like talked about but not shown. I felt no
Yeah.
connection between those 3 characters, not all
Well,
3 of them together.
yeah.
You know,
I think
if you
I-
want
I
to say
think
that,
it's-
if you want to say that Ray and Finn had a connection beyond Ray, maybe.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I didn't feel all 3 of them had a
like
connection.
I think for me it's I think I've spoken about this to some people, but it's like a thing I can't explain it, but I think it's just like knowing that how I feel about the other movies and knowing at that point in my life and seeing them hug, I'm like, this is it. Like this was my Star Wars, you know what I mean? And it's just I think it gets me on that level.
And that's fair. It's just when I saw that scene, I felt it felt so unearned to me because I'm like, I don't care about these characters enough, like based on these movies, like I don't feel their connection. Like finally they hugged, like finally they're all together, they're at their strongest. Like I didn't feel that triumph moment.
Yeah.
It's like
hugging.
It's like if Padme, Anakin, and Obi-Wan hugged in episode 3, right? Which would have been kind of weird on Mustafar. But anyway, if they would have hugged, right, I would have been like, oh, okay.
Well, that's why I always argue that they need to make a show on those three characters.
I would agree. I would agree.
Post
and let Dave Filoni produce it.
Yeah, and people are always like, oh, do it in between The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. I don't think that's as interesting because Rey and all of them, they don't meet Kylo Ren. I don't think Rey goes on a mission until The Rise of Skywalker. So if you do it after that movie, I've always had this idea. This was my idea. If you just do
Trademark.
it's a buddy cop series, but it's Rey and Ghost Ben Solo exploring the history of the Jedi. Just do that. I think that's hilarious. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Don't me.
Hunter hates it already. Hunter hates it.
No, I do.
think-
Okay.
No.
I do
think that
want
scene in The Rise of Skywalker where she dies and then he kisses her and then
You like the
she's
kiss,
brought back
Tyler?
to
Is that
life,
a thing?
and then he dies. I
yes.
think that is the funniest thing
I
in
think
Star Wars.
I like it because
I would die if I kissed Daisy Ridley too. What the fuck?
I could die. Yes, exactly. I could die there too.
I would die happy.
But I think it's not that it's not so much when it happened, but it's more
Harper's
like
frozen again.
that it happened. Oh no, he looked away.
Oh, he's back. Okay.
Yeah, no.
Oh
he's
my
frozen on
god,
screen.
I'm still here too.
Oh, he's frozen on my screen. I'm sorry.
All right,
Oh,
but yeah, but I
Jesus.
was like, but I wasn't so much happy where it happened, but I was more like it did happen because this is controversial, but I do understand the Raylo thing. I really do, and I get it, and I think it makes sense. Anyway,
Okay.
if we had to rank the trilogies, where would you do? Original,
Oh,
sequels,
yeah.
prequels for me.
Original, sequel, prequel. Because in the end, even though I don't like the direction the sequels went, I think they're way more entertaining than episode 1 and 2.
Mm.
1 and 2 are just so
Yeah,
boring.
yeah.
At least I could
Yeah.
watch The Last Jedi or Rise of Skywalker and be entertained. They look great.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah, they
1 and
do
2
look great. Yeah.
don't. I love the Phantom. I love Darth Maul's fight. Episode 2. I love the CGI pair. I think that's hilarious. But that's about it.
Master Obi-Wan would be very grumpy if he saw me using my powers like this.
Oh god, stop
What?
it. Stop.
That sounds like like an 80s like superhero film like dialogue.
Yeah.
It really- yeah.
George Lucas directs the next Fantastic Four. Fingers crossed.
Jeez, could you imagine?
People would still celebrate more than John Watts.
John
though.
Watts,
Like people,
yeah.
people would be like, "Oh, dude, he did Revenge of the Sith. We're set."
Yeah, he did Revenge of the
He's
Sith
back!
20
Do you
years
wanna-
ago when this Fantastic Four film is made.
Do we want to move on to The Mandalorian then? Give our quick thoughts on
Yes,
season
Mando's
2.
awesome.
Season 2 was
No.
fucking good.
No.
Season
Yeah.
2
Season
two
1 was good too. It's just
Yeah.
a good show.
Season 1 for me was okay. I liked it, but season 2 was just I was so invested.
I loved it so
Mandalorian
much.
is fan service a Star Wars story, and I think it's very good
Yes.
for it because it
Well,
does it not poorly.
I've never
Yeah, I was
understood
gonna
the
say in
hate
a good
on
way.
fan service though. Like, is fan service that bad of a thing?
It's
Like,
bad if you force
whenever
it.
someone points it out, like even Williamson was pointing out, like, oh, with my last Flash story, like I'm pumping in a lot of fan service. Is that necessarily a bad thing? I think if you,
Well,
if
this
you
is
kind of
good.
sprinkle it in, like,
It's more how it's done. Like
Yeah.
here's an like fan service that's done poorly, in my opinion, is showing the Justice League in an email in a Batman v Superman movie because it has
Lex
nothing to do with
Luthor
the plot.
designed their logos. That is cinematic genius.
It has nothing to do with the plot, but
Hunter
that's-
blushed real quick.
We're back.
but fan service done well is like Ahsoka or Boba
Yeah.
Fett or you know what I mean, like all that stuff.
Where they
Dude,
fit into the
Bo-Katan-
plot, and it's natural for
Bo-Katan,
them
oh
to come
my
in.
God. Yeah,
Boba is the biggest surprise to me. I didn't even know Tamara Morrison could act that well, to be honest.
yeah. No, I remember being annoyed at the first. I didn't like the first episode when it came out. I was really annoyed with it.
Oh, the one in the
The crate
desert by
jacket.
Robert
Yeah, no, I
Rodriguez.
didn't like it.
Oh,
No,
you mean the
Oh, I-
very
the
first?
very first episode of season 2? I didn't like it.
Oh,
was
I liked
really
it a
upset with
lot.
it. No,
I thought it
I
was
was.
so
That's
annoyed.
because you didn't read the Aftermath trilogy, Tyler. You're
No,
a fake
I
Star
knew
Wars
who
fan. You
Cobb
don't even know
Vanth
who
was.
Cobb Vanth is.
I knew exactly who Cobb Vanth was. I was just like, this is because that to me just felt like complete fan service, like beyond anything.
Here's the
But-
thing, though. It's so funny because those books, no offense, are not very good. The last one's
Who you
pretty
no
good,
offensing to?
but that like
Yeah.
people who
because the
actually
writer
like
is
those,
watching it. This
I'm
video.
sure there's going to be
George
one person
Lucas
who's
is
like,
watching
dude,
it
I
right now."
love Chuck Wendig's work on the Aftermath trip. I know there's going to be one person at least, but they're not very good. So it's so funny to me that they paid so heavy attention to a book series that no one really cares about. That's
Yeah.
how dedicated they
Well,
are to canon.
Do you think we're getting Cobb Vanth back?
I hope so because I like Timothy Oliphant.
Well, they wouldn't have cast him just for one episode, right?
Yeah, well, he's
I don't
You
know,
think
100%
he'll be in
maybe
the
they-
Rangers show, the Rangers of the New Republic?
Oh, good
Oh.
idea. That would be awesome.
Yes.
If he was like not the lead, but one of the main characters of
Well,
that.
because he is a sheriff. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow,
there you
that's a really good idea.
I think that'd be cool.
Tyler, he's full of ideas. We should just
Oh,
listen
yeah,
to
Star Wars ideas. But I think on the whole, season 2, I think my favorite character there was Bo-Katan, because she's my favorite Mandalorian. I think she's my favorite Clone Wars character.
Oh,
I had just
that's
seeing-
an interesting take.
Seeing her was really, I mean, besides like Anakin and Ahsoka, like she's like my favorite one that isn't one
Like
of the
side
main
character,
characters.
yeah.
Yeah. And I really just something about seeing her was so cool. I mean, also seeing Ahsoka in a samurai episode was the coolest thing in the world.
That was,
But
yeah.
I really did like seeing Bo like that. I thought, and it's obviously because it's also Katie Sackhoff. Just
Yeah.
seeing her just jump from animation to live action perfectly, like
really
that was
cool,
Yeah, pretty
Same with
seamless.
Ahsoka.
Wait,
Yeah.
she's the one that voices her in the animation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so fucking cool.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
But
So,
Ahsoka, they cast a Rosia Dawson because there was semblance, I guess.
Rosie
Yeah, Ashley
O'Dawson.
Eckstein
Rosio?
looks nothing like
Rosie
Rosie
O'Donnell?
Rosario
Rosie
Dawson.
Rosario.
Take your bingo cards out for this. We're gonna
Yeah.
have to make a new bingo card.
This is a
Rosie
brand new
Dawson.
bingo. This is insane. Wow.
This is a brand new
Going.
bingo. It's a brand new bingo card, but Hunter's getting roasted by the entire squad is still a thing.
Anyway, I thought Risotto Dawson was really good as Ahsoka.
She was good. At first time I watched it, even though I really did enjoy it, I was like, she's a tiny bit wooden. Like, is that? But I also understand that this is Ahsoka the Wise now. Like,
Yeah.
so she's like Gandalf at this point.
And up the
But
white.
It was
Yeah.
also, I think it's also just settling into someone else's voice as well, because she did a really good job sounding like Ashley Eckstein, but at the same time,
Yeah.
we're not used to it because ever since 2008, we've only had one voice in our head for her. So I think it was
Well,
just
She
like-
did look
Ahsoka in
perfect as well.
general
Yeah.
has more of a younger voice, I guess you could say. Like it's
Because
very
I mean,
high.
not when. Well, it's because that's her when she was younger. But
But
it's not
even
the
in
same
like
in,
Rebels,
it's not exactly the same in Rebels, though, is it?
it's pretty. I mean, I just
it's
watched an episode
similar.
of Ahsoka
Well,
the
it's
other
hard
day.
for her to change it too much, but she does have more of a flat kind of voice in Rebels. I feel.
It's more serious than young.
Yeah, it's
sound-
much more
young.
serious.
It's
Well,
less
yeah.
energetic, which works for the development of the character.
Yeah.
She's very punky in the Clone Wars.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. She's
Well,
she's
Rebels,
like an annoying.
she's
She's like a
more-
brat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Serious. She's more
But-
like episode 6 Luke in Rebels, I'd say.
Speaking of episode
Yeah.
6, Luke, do you guys want to talk about
the
the season finale? Are you confused, Hunter?
I
You
didn't
just-
know what you're
yeah.
talking about there. I'm
He
like,
just
we-
doesn't
we
like, he
talking
just
about
doesn't like
episode
not
6
being
again?
host. You were like, look at me, look at me, look at me.
Hey,
I'm the host now.
I have Luke's saber with me right now. So yeah,
Oh.
let's talk about
He's
it.
been waiting to
When
pull
the
it out as
X-wing
well.
shows up, I was like, it
I
can't be
literally yelled.
Luke
I literally
Skywalker,
yelled
right?
Luke once
No,
we saw the X.
Yeah, no, I think everyone was like, "Is it Luke?" But I was like, "It can't be, right?" Like they would have.
Yeah, that's it. It was
Yeah.
like a slow. It was denial turned into realizing.
until you see
I
the
was
green
like,
lightsaber.
like when I
and
saw the X-wing, I'm like, is this gonna be like Dave Filoni's like X-wing Republic character showing up? I'm like, that's so weird that he would be the savior. And then
The
I'm like, wait
chopper
a second.
comes out.
Yeah,
Dave
I was like,
Filoni
wait.
himself is just slicing the bots.
I would really like to see Hera and Chopper in this. That would be cool. But anyway, I dead set. And then when it clicked, I went, wait, one X-Wing? No, there's no way. And then
Yeah.
from there on, I was like, Sebastian Stan. It's going to be Sebastian Stan.
And then
And
it's
I'm glad
it
it's
wasn't.
face app. Yeah.
But I think we're at the point, and it happened almost immediately, like after the episode. I've never seen people come together so much over thing and go, yeah, that looked a little bit weird. We don't care. because of
Yeah.
what it meant to people. Like it didn't matter that it looked. It wasn't like Tarkin, where like who is I used to be a diehard Tarkin fan. No one else in the world is. Like I was
What?
that guy who was like, dude, I love Tarkin.
I
Why?
love Star Wars
What
Hitler.
What about Thrawn? I thought you liked Thrawn.
I do love Thrawn, except I still love Thrawn. Tarkin, I'm
Thrawn's
just
gonna
like,
be-
well, I liked his book.
Thrawn's gonna be in Mandalorian.
Or in Ahsoka,
Well,
probably.
Ahsoka
He's going to be in
probably,
Ahsoka, I think, which is
Yeah.
gonna. That was the thing in the Ahsoka. To jump back, that was the thing in the Ahsoka episode that made me drop my jaw more than it, because we knew Ahsoka was going to be in it, or at least it was heavily reported. And then when she starts the episode, it's like, okay, it's Ahsoka, and then she goes, "Where's your master?" I'm like, who's master? Like I was expecting like a Jedi or a Sithy, like kind of exile.
I thought it was
person.
gonna be. I
expect
thought she was gonna say
just gonna
Ezra.
say-
Yeah,
Oh,
and then
I
she said
thought she'd just
Thrawn,
say
and
like
I.
Moth. I
No,
thought
I
she
was
just
dead
said
set like
Oh,
yeah.
I was like, my jaw was dropped, and I
Did
was
the
like,
Armor Wars photo?
I was literally.
But yeah,
I could not believe that they even said the name. I
think
was like,
that was
I
a
remember
general
getting-
thing.
Yeah.
You go. There you go.
I was gonna say, I remember getting excited when in Aftermath Book 3, Ray Sloan mentions Grand Admiral Thrawn in just like one line. I remember being hyped about like that one reference. To know that he's now going to be in a live action Star Wars show, I'm like losing my mind. That is so cool to me.
I was gonna say,
It's
I
like
think
the
that
ultimate thing that I could have wished for.
general feeling of people losing their mind was just all over this season. Like there are
Mhm.
so many moments where people are
Yeah.
just like, "This was everything I've wanted." Like Boba Fett. I mean, we mentioned him, but actually seeing Boba Fett do things
Do
is
something cool?
incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, is incredible.
And
We've
he
been
just-
waiting 40 years for this.
And his
my
character was
favorite line in Epic Rap
interesting,
Battles
like-
of History is when he says you had 5 lines in a trilogy, and one of them was like it's literally Boba Fett's so lame in canon.
yeah.
Like,
Well,
But
not
it was
anymore.
cool
He's
that-
not.
they,
Yeah,
yeah, they,
yeah,
they
no,
made
it's
it
cool.
more
He did
cool.
like the Han Solo like boom, like shoot without looking.
And
and,
he's got-
and,
he's got
and
his
the actor
knee,
said like he's been waiting
missiles.
for Disney to call. Like that was like
Yeah.
it's cool.
yeah.
It was
But he's
very
like
cool.
honorable. He's interesting. Like
This
his
show's gonna be
dialogue was good. Like it was so much better than him just showing up and like them getting into a gunfight. He was like, "No, I'm gonna help you like, get this child back
Yeah.
because I made a promise to you." And like as people have pointed out, we know why he has that philosophy. Considering he was a kid and watched his dad get beheaded, of course he wouldn't want to, see a father and son separated. Basically, I just think everything with Boba was so cool. Like it's such small fan service, but when he drops the bombs in like the second last episode and you get the silence and then the boom,
Yeah,
it's
from
like
episode
such
2.
subtle, like nothing. Like anyone else would just be like, "What?" But Star Wars fans are like, "Oh my god, he
Yeah,
did
as soon as it drops, it's like,
When he's
make
like,
the noise,
"Oh,
make the noise, make the
I'm
noise.
just a man trying to
Make
Make
my
his
way
way
across
across
make my
the
way in the
galaxy.
galaxy like my father
Yeah.
before me." I was like, "Ah!"
There's a lot
It's
of
so
prequel
funny that
It's like
can
pretty cool
feel that.
dialogue, but cool.
That's the thing. We feel these moments even for like though they're references to stuff that we don't personally like care about. I don't think any of us here are like Attack of the Clones is a great film, but still
Yeah.
those references
"Oh,
were
Attack
like
of-"
that's so
But
cool.
yeah.
I think it's cool to see Star Wars tied together because I'm someone who doesn't like when people go, "This isn't canon," and I know I'm not going to get any argument here. And I think it's interesting when they just like, let's tie it all in together and make everyone feel included because that's important. Like,
They're
like,
respecting
it's
the
such
history.
a small thing. It was such a small thing. But I remember going into The Force Awakens and being like, I hope they don't reference the prequels because I was at that age where I just wanted to be a dick about everything. And then
Okay,
when they made that line about maybe Snoke should have invested in a clone army, I remember sitting there and being like, "Oh man, I loved the Clone Wars." And then it all clicked for me and I went, "Oh, Star Wars isn't just made for one specific subsection of fans. It's made for everyone."
it's a whole timeline. You can't ignore any
exactly.
bit of it. Yeah.
That's it.
You could do
And
your
it's-
own thing, but there's still going to be references here and there.
Mhm.
For Boba
Like, you
Fett, you
can't-
kind
like,
of
that's-
have to
yeah.
do that. Like
Yeah.
there's the scene in the second last episode of season 2 where they're deciding who needs to go in to and take off their helmets, and they look at
Yeah.
Boba and he's like, "Oh, they might recognize my face." It's like, because
I
He's
thought that was so
clone.
good. Yeah.
He's also scarred to shit. Like,
Yeah,
And he's a clone.
Yeah. Yeah.
They
Also,
might
fuck,
recognize
why-
my face.
This is not. It's not off topic, but Bill Burr is so just amazing. in the-
Incredible.
Yeah.
He
his
carried that
character's
episode, which
so
is
For
good.
great.
someone who hates Star Wars as much as he does, he's so
Like
good.
season 2.
He's like as good as like Harrison Ford hates Star Wars, and Bill Burr both and hates Star Wars as well. Like they're both such good characters in Star
Yeah,
Wars.
just like-
Like their hate fuels it.
I just like the start of that episode when Boba walks down the ramp of Slave One, and
Yeah.
he's just like, geez, you had scared me there. I thought you were another guy. And then Mando walks behind him, and Bill Burr's just like, it's
Also,
so
Boba's got the fresh
And hear
paint
the-
job.
yeah. I liked that a lot. The black under the armor and everything. I thought that looked
Mhm.
so cool.
Yeah,
I love when he
it looks
polishes
great.
armor and it's like not as scarred anymore.
Yeah.
Even though his
I
head
like
looks
these-
like my
still got the
Lego
dinge.
figure, it looks nice. It looks really good.
You know what I did like? You know what's probably the most fan servicey thing of the entire season, but I loved it.
Oh, here we
Is
go.
just the fact that there's a shot of R2 and Grogu is just
Yeah,
Yes.
when R2 came
it's so
around.
yeah. I was beyond happy with it. I was like, yes,
Yeah.
like this is what I want to see. Why not? It was great.
Is it the common consensus that R2 saved him from the temple? Like, is that what people think, or
Oh my
I don't think we know.
How would he
No,
do
that?
that,
That's
though?
not canon. We don't
Well,
know.
well,
no,
it's
but
like
I'm
the
saying,
theory.
I'm saying, is that like the consensus? Because I feel like I heard a lot of people saying that.
I don't
but
think he's going to be at the temple. I think he's going to be taken.
No, she said
back
he
from
was-
Luke.
Ahsoka said no. She's talking. Wait, what temple are we talking about?
I'm saying like
we're
when he was
talking about
saved in
prequels.
Revenge of the Sith, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people are
Oh.
saying that
I thought you were
R2
talking
saved
about
him from
Luke's
the
temple because he
No,
went
no,
away
no,
with
no, no.
Luke.
No, Ben killed Grogu, but that's not the point.
No.
Is I just lost my whole train of thought. Who saved him
the-
from the temple in Revenge of the
from the
Sith?
Jedi
We don't know yet. I'm
Obviously,
sure
he
we'll
wasn't
find
there.
out.
But
we
I'm
don't
saying,
know yet.
I'm saying, like, is the common consensus that it was R2 since he had that little
Could have
connection with
been.
R2?
It was a
That's what I've seen a lot of
wounded
people
Mace
saying.
Windu, obviously.
Oh God! If I
That
gotta hear
is
one
curious,
more fucking
JD,
Mace Windu theory, I'm gonna lose my mind.
JD, I never thought about the fact that they recognized each other. I just thought it
That's
was
what I'm saying,
like,
like, he
oh,
recognized him.
friend. Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay, I didn't think about that. either.
And
Yeah.
R2
I mean,
was traveling
R2
with
might have
Anakin.
just R2 might have just recognized Yoda.
Does that mean R2 was? Does that mean
Hey,
Grogu
little
was?
Yoda!
Yeah, he did
Hey, you
curse
beat
it,
me
but like,
with a
there's a
fucking
fucking,
stick.
there's a fucking
Pops
Yoda
off
right here.
the top of the astromech, and there's just a dude in there in like a green.
Warwick
like,
Davis.
He's like,
Yeah.
hey,
But-
that's a baby Yoda.
But I'm saying like you know, if he
And then Luke is like, yes, it is Baby Yoda.
if R2 did save Grogu, that kind of brings up a lot of canon problems. Like, does that mean he was in Mustafar, just like inside of R2's like fin? Like,
Well, that's the thing,
Like
is-
Anakin's like
is
getting slaughtered in the lava,
when-
and he's just like sitting in there.
When Ahsoka said that, I think we were all like, what? Like he was at the temple?
Yeah.
You know, and I'm really wondering when they're gonna clear that up. Like, when are we gonna find out about that?
Yeah.
I'm
It's
curious
a,
we'll
it's
get
a big
more
reference to
Luke,
make.
and because I understand season 3 is going to be about Mandalore and how the
Yeah.
sake of like the kingdom of Mandalore. But I wonder if we're actually going to get a lot of Grogu and Luke in general in season 3. I hope
I mean,
we
it
do.
could be in that Rangers show again too.
Yeah,
like,
it could be.
They
moved
have
to a different
3
show.
shows in this same era now. They
This
have
is
Rangers of the New
Ahsoka.
Republic, Mandalorian, and Ahsoka, and they said it's all gonna
And
be
Boba
in a
Fett.
big event. Oh yeah, and then
Yeah.
the Book of Boba
Book of
Fett.
Boba Fett.
And then they said it's all gonna culminate in one big event, like an MCU movie or something. I think
Okay.
we're definitely gonna be seeing more Luke Skywalker.
Oh, 100%. They can't just do
Good.
that and be like, "Hey, that's it." See where
Also, I
Luke's
think
story
talk about how
continues
at
in
the
the Last
time, though,
Jedi.
At the same time, though, I think I would be okay if we didn't see Luke again, because I think a childhood dream of maybe all of us was to see Luke Skywalker at his full potential, and we
Yeah.
got it. And at this point, I'm like, you know what? That's good enough.
We
for
got
me.
it, but we
Yeah,
also
like you
got
don't
it.
want to overdo it.
I feel like Disney
We
low-key
need to
wants
see
to
what
do a
happens
Luke
next.
Skywalker show. Like, I feel like they
Oh,
would
yeah.
love to kind of
Yeah, but do it
Luke's
in
academy.
animation and
I
make
think
it
do it in
about
animation
Luke's
as well.
temple.
I
Yeah.
agree.
I think do it in animation. Do it about the original group of characters.
Oh, really?
Lando, Han, Leia, Chewie.
But, like-
because Lando mentions in Episode 9 they all went to Exegol or something. I want to see those
Yeah.
adventures. I want to see the adventures they went on.
I
That's
just
fair.
like because his voice sounded so perfect. Whatever manipulation they did on his voice, because they said,
Whose
you know,
voice?
they were like, "Oh, we did
To try to
stuff
make
to
him
touch
sound
up
young.
his face for Mark Hamill to make him young."
Oh yeah.
I do you think they could do that for an entire show? Like
That's
an
what I was
entire-
thinking. Maybe
think-
a movie.
Well,
would
what I
be
was
better.
thinking is, I think the reason that they didn't cast anyone and they did the face app thing is so it didn't get leaked. And I think if they were to do Luke Skywalker stuff next, they would cast him.
Ah, interesting.
I wonder how Sebastian Stan feels about like all the people, like, because that's like a universal fan
He
cast.
he
like,
said that he liked it. He liked the
Oh, okay.
idea.
He would also. I mean, he's also working for Disney, so he would probably do it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's already in, and I mean, he would be like, I don't want to. This isn't knocking Sebastian Stan or Mark Hamill, but they both have that very kind of like dry way of communicating their lines. It's not like sarcasm, but it's like
Yeah.
this sort of drier delivery, and it's not even like it's not dry like prequels dialogue. It's intentional, clearly. But I feel like he would suit it so well that it's like, why don't you just do that? Like,
I think
you
it's
have
because
your
Disney thought that it would distract people. Because keep in mind when he took his
Yeah.
hood off and he saw him, everyone was like Luke Skywalker. But he took it off and it was a different actor.
Sebastian Stan.
A lot of people be like Sebastian Stan.
Bucky.
instead of
Why
Luke.
didn't they cast Sebastian
Bucky?
Stan and then do
Who
the
the hell is
face
Bucky?
app stuff over him? Because the
Because
actor
then what's
they
the point of
cast
paying?
as
Because
Luke.
then what's the point of paying Sebastian Stan if you're going to use the face app? Think
It's a
about
good
it.
point.
In a,
Well,
in a
the
financial
point
way,
is
That
that
is a
he
good
looks
point.
so much like Mark Hamill that you can do a better job. Because the dude that they did cast looks nothing like Mark Hamill, and
Because they were gonna put their
to
face on
replace-
him. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
feel
you
like
can
I've
do a
seen
much better
deepfakes, though.
job of. You can
I
do
feel
a
like I've
much
seen
better job of
deepfakes that
when
were
you have someone
better
looks-
than like what they like. I'm not saying it was bad the one they used in Mandalorian, but I feel like I've seen deepfakes online that are better.
Yeah, there are.
But in the end, I doubt there was many people like, "Oh, that looks terrible," because people were just like,
Yeah, and then just
again,
completely
it's
shut off.
Luke.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
one dude who did the best version of that was the guy who was basically saying that the reason it's so hard to do it anyway is because Mark Hamill and the guy who was playing Luke physically look so different that trying to match them up was like impossible because you are still using it.
Maybe
as
it was just a
reference.
random guy they got then.
Mhm.
Maybe
like, you- come on,
I
come
think
on.
He was like a stunt
Does
guy.
Mark
Yeah,
Hamill
dude
not
off
have a
the
son?
street.
Mark Hamill probably has a son,
I
but
think
his
he
son
does,
probably
but
doesn't
they
look
don't
like
really
his
look
son.
too much alike. Yeah,
His
I
son
don't
looks
know.
like
Yeah.
his son looks like Hayden Christensen.
And-
I almost looked up Luke
That's such a
Skywalker.
shitty
Mark-
joke. But it's
yeah,
funny.
that.
I know.
Hey, should we
I
wrap
looked
it
I
up?
looked up Mark Hamill's son,
I
and it
think-
just showed Sebastian Stan. What the hell?
That's funny.
Should we wrap a hero story, a Star Wars story up there?
Story
I
up,
think we can.
possibly.
This was a good pilot
Star-
episode, right?
Yeah.
What a
Yeah.
shit show!
I mean, Harper. We
uh,
lost Harper twice. And
Unbelievable.
This is why you can't be host, Harper. This is why you can't be host.
I agree.
Welcome
I agree.
to-
I honestly agree.
Yeah, and then you free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I turn purple and I'm gone for 30 minutes. And you're like, well, what are we gonna do?
That was entertaining. This will probably happen maybe once a month. Star Wars news doesn't come out as often as like a comic a week, several comics a week for a hero story. So
Well, they are starting the High Republic stuff now.
High
so
Republic
maybe we
stuff,
could
yeah.
jump on
that's
that.
true. It could probably be multiple times, but I don't think it would be like a weekly thing.
Yeah.
So
God,
Yeah,
Tyler,
well,
I
we'll
was
keep you guys
literally
updated
about to
on-
say that.
a hero story Instagram as to when the next one's going to come out, but probably soon. Until then, like next year, we'll have weekly TV shows all the time, and we could probably review them every week. And yeah.
Oh, weekly Star Wars. I thought you meant we were gonna have weekly TV.
Yeah, I was like,
shows.
wait, what?
It's like,
Oh yeah. Sorry, I just leaked the hero
weekly
story
Star Wars
sitcom.
TV shows.
Oh god.
Yeah.
I don't even
like
wanna
Bad
watch a
Batch
TV
starts
show
later
about
this
me.
year. Maybe we'll review that every week or something like that.
Mhm.
But
Oh yeah, I
until
forgot
then,
about the Bad Batch.
yeah. Until then, I don't know what the outro is.
And for a
Uh,
hero story, a Star Wars story, I've been Harper.
I've
been-
been Tyler.
I've been Hunter.
And I've been JD. And remember, keep it Star Wars. Phew, phew.